Okay, so a little introduction to how plants vary. We're in a prairie habitat, so these would be herbaceous plants. They're going to be dead above ground in the winter, but lots of variation we can use to identify them. I see easily 20 or more species just right around me, so won't give you their names, but we can talk about the details. Things you want to look for when you're identifying plants. One of the first ones is what we call Philotexas. That's the way that the leaves branch along the stem. So here I've got a plant. As the stem goes, the leaves come out two at a time. So this is a location called a node, and the leaves come out from there. They're two at a time. This is a little boisterous plant here. This is a little side shoot already forming. So this is the leaf coming off to the side, and then that side shoot's already going. So it's technically just two leaves coming out from that location. We call this opposite. Not too fancy a term. So as the leaves come out, they continually are branching off. They're coming off the main stem opposite. Contrast to that, we can pick up a plant that has one leaf coming out at a time. We call this alternate. So one along the stem. So opposite versus alternate. There's another type called whorled. I don't think I'll see a good example of that. It's pretty rare. Whorled have three or more leaves coming out from the same location along the stem. We can look at the leaves themselves and look at some variation in the leaves. This is a leaf here that I've pulled off the stem. This is what we call a sessile leaf. It doesn't have a stalk. So I'll contrast with another one, bigger one here, that has a stalk. The stalk is part of the leaf technically. So on this side, this is a leaf. We've got the stalk called the petiole, and then this part is called the blade. Differences in shape and so on. So these are features you might look at that help you identify one plant species from another. There's a little bit of hairiness on this leaf that can be helpful. The jagged teeth on the margin of this leaf. We've also got differences in the venation. So venation is a term that refers to how the leaf veins, the major leaf veins come out. And so this one, the main leaf, secondary leaf veins are coming off along the midrib. We call that pinnate. Pinnate is literally means like a feather. So this sort of looks a little more like a feather. Maybe I'll find a palmate one to contrast that with. Both of these are simple leaves, meaning that the leaves are just one blade per leaf. Contrast that with another one here. This is a compound leaf. So what I've got in my hand is a single leaf, using the rules of what it means to be a leaf. Flares out at the base where it attaches to the stem, and the leaf proper doesn't have just one blade, but it has this highly divided blade. So the blade is divided into leaflets, and this is actually quite compound blade, where the leaflets have leaflets and so on. So to be technically a compound leaf, it needs to be divided all the way down to the midrib. Let me find another one, maybe a little simpler example. This is another example of a compound leaf consisting only of three leaflets. So again, divided all the way down to their base. We call this Trifoliolate, so a leaf that has three leaflets on it. Other types of compound leaf, not readily available. Let me see, we've got a grass here I can show you. The grass, of course, has a much more linear shape to it. We call this actually lanceolate, so kind of fat at the base, but quite long in general. Its venation is what we call parallel. I don't know if you can see the veins super well, but they run parallel to each other for most of the length. And that's characteristic of grasses and their relatives, pretty typical there. You could probably recognize a grass by eye. Let me cut that one.